Hey, this is Bill DeWeese with Long Strange Journey, coming at you with some information on moving into fall and fishing, where we tend to get up early and find fog. This morning here, November 24th in Palm Harbor, it was very foggy this morning. And I drive about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, even sometimes 2 hours to go fishing. So I do like to leave early. I like to get on the water early. I know we're now moving into winter, cooler water temperatures. It can be better to do that gentleman's start and wait until you start to see a little bit of a warm up. And certainly sometimes afternoon fishing outpaces morning fishing. But you still need to get on the water early sometimes to beat the craziness at the ramp. I also do a lot of nearshore fishing, which can be 30 minutes run time to get to about 30 feet of water. And that can be something where I want to burn the early morning pre-dawn hours to do that. What we want to know about fog is it's manageable, but it's also predictable. So this video is about predicting fog and adjusting your program for fishing that day according to the fog potential and knowing when it's going to take place, right? So that's actually one of the key things that we want to do here. So I'm going to use a couple of resources. So if you went to ChatGPT or asked that old uncle of yours or your dad and ask him about fog, they'll probably tell you that it occurs in these mid-seasons. But technically what they'll tell you is you're going to get fog whenever the temperature falls below the dew point, which can happen in different levels and degrees based upon that temperature spread and also on the isolated areas where that temperature takes place, right? Because you could actually have patchy fog and you can also have really thick, dense fog. So that's what we want to deal with here. So what we want to do is find the tools that we need to do that. And I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to do this on the mobile phone, and I'm also going to do this on some of the laptop applications. All right, so we're going to look on the PC here real quickly, and we're going to go to my weather apps. And again, you can pick the one that's going to give you the data that you need. I'm going to do the Weather Underground, comes up as Wonderground. I'm going to pick my home area of Palm Harbor, and I'm going to look at my 10-day forecast. And let's look at today, for example. So graphically, what you see here is in green, they're showing you your dew point. And you can see we have a cold front coming around Thanksgiving, and we're going to see drops in temperature, but also with that, a drop in dew point. So that's going to be dry air, and it's going to be clear, right? But look at this morning, the green line of dew point and the temperature line, forget that feels like temperature. We're interested in the actual thermometer temperature in red. They touch each other consistently, even more so than they will tomorrow. So let's take a look at tomorrow and look at it at the table. We can see that our dew point is running 63 to 64. This is down as low as 62. But our temperature is not really, the closest you're going to get is about 7 a.m. where it's 64 degrees air temperature projected. These are forecasts. So there'll be some variation against 63 degree dew point. So patchy fog would be expected, but not thick fog. If you see the temperature dipping below the dew point, now you're into thick fog. You can't really predict it offshore because you don't really get good temperature data always in those areas. You get just projections. But these weather stations can give you very good detailed information. Here's an example on the mobile phone using the Windy app. The Windy app, free, also gives you dew point under detailed displaying, as you could do a simple display, basic, but you can also do the meteorological display. So in the meteorological display, it shows you the over-under here of dew point. I've picked Tampa. You could pick anywhere they have a station. But you can see here that at 4 a.m., the dew point and the temperature were the same. And that's sustained for a much longer time at the same rough level. So that's going to give you higher fog. Now, the stations here, I think you have to pay to get more intricate stations to get closer to where you might be launching, because obviously somewhere here, MacDill, Davis Island is going to be a little bit different than where we're going to be. But on Tuesday, you can see at 4 a.m. the dew point has dropped to like 64 degrees, 63 degrees at 1 a.m. and the temperature remains 68, 67, 66, while the dew point correspondingly is 63, 64, 64, 65. So you're not going to have as much fog tomorrow because you don't have sustained periods in which the dew point and the temperature come very close together, or certainly where the air temperature dips below the dew point. That's where you're going to start to see your more what you would refer to as dense fog, and you're going to probably get a fog advisory for that. And so you can use this information once again to project where it would be safer to delay your departure at the ramp to a point when that fog has begun the process of being reabsorbed as vapor and the fog, quote unquote, burns off. So hopefully this helps, and you can see some of the sources for getting this information and using it to your advantage to be safer on the water.